Hello again, everybody. The next car that you've selected to view on ClassicMuscleCars.com. Wait a minute. Jeremy, did I say car?
Well, yeah, look who's standing next to you.
Well, yeah, oh, we're not talking about a car. We're talking about Mr. Elvis Presley. This is something exciting that we wanted to let you know about. We wanted to do a video and let you see some of the collection here at ClassicMuscleCars.com. We're really excited about this because we have probably one of the only ones lucky enough to have some of Elvis's real hair, among other things that we have here, but we just received this for our collection here at ClassicMuscleCars.com. Jeremy, you want to show them that frame with the real Elvis hair in it? Now, this is hair that is authenticated. It is numbers match documented hair. It's not all numbers match because he ain't all there. It's just a few pieces of them. But it's kind of neat because we have a lot of documentation, as you can see with this, and most of the pieces that we have in terms of the rock and roll collection here in our collection are all pieces that are documented as being authentic and real, according to the paperwork. Now, I just want to mention too why we're on the subject of the rock and roll memorabilia. What we're going to do in this video today is we're going to show all of our Elvis collection here. We've had comments from people all over the country and the world that they would like to see some of our rock and roll collection because they may or may not be able to come here, and it's unfortunate because we've got a huge collection of rock and roll memorabilia that's from the 60s and the early 70s, and some things from the 50s pertaining to the people like Elvis, of course, that you would have heard on the radio in the 60s when these cars, the 60s classic muscle cars, were being driven on the street. So what we're going to do in our collection, we're going to do these in a series. So today we're doing Elvis. We're doing Elvis because of the fact that we just acquired some of his no BS real hair. Now we have some other great things that we're going to show you in this collection that we have from Elvis, and we're fortunate to have some of these pieces. I've been collecting memorabilia for over 10 years, and if you know me, it's not just the cars that we have here. I'm a collector of a lot of different things. Rock and roll memorabilia is one of the big things that I love to collect from the era of the classic muscle cars when we're all out cruising around on the streets listening to these rock and roll musicians on the radio at the actual day and time. So it's a walk, it's a blast from the past, it takes you back. This is a fun thing. Now, Jeremy is going to show you this. This piece came to us, and we have all the authentication and paperwork. There was actually 100 strands of Elvis's hair that started from a lock from when he got a haircut that was obtained by one of Elvis's employees who's actually a relative of his. So these are some copies of the documentation, and here's 50 strands of hair, and here's another 50 strands of hair. So anyway, we have a little piece of the towel that's down here that they used to put around Elvis for him to get his hair cut, and that came from one of his #1 fans, Rockin' Robin, who wrote a book called All the King's Things, and she's got a ton of Elvis memorabilia and collectibles. So that's where some of this came from. Also in this display case, and Jeremy can get in here and show you a little bit, we have some of the different Elvis albums here. We have some of the original papers the day that Elvis died that came out from Memphis when he died. I got those when I visited Graceland some years back. And throughout here we have different albums, and we have some gold records, and we have some other very interesting things, and we also have a bill of sale of Elvis's first Cadillac back here, so we're going to show you that too. But now also in this case is another piece that I'm really proud of. This is one of the leather coats that Elvis used to wear around Graceland. We got this from Elvis's nurse, and she was around and lived on the estate in 1977 when Elvis died. So this is one of the personal artifacts that she had from Elvis, and we acquired this directly from her, and we have paperwork from her to authenticate that this is in fact one of Elvis's leather coats. anyway, what I'd like to do now is Jeremy can show you a little bit of this display case. I want to take you back and I want to show you some of the really good stuff that we have in our collection at ClassicMuscleCars.com and Northern Illinois Auto Brokers. For the entire rock and roll collection, we're just going to do the Elvis part, and that's in what room, Jeremy? We have 6 showrooms here, so this is...
It's in the Elvis room.
It's in the Elvis room, but that's...
Fourth one down?
Fourth one down.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a couple of minutes and go over the documentation on Elvis's hair. First, what we're seeing here is the letter of authenticity from Ryan T. Mack. And, well, it certifies that he removed pieces of Presley hair from a lock originally obtained by Noreen Clark from Graceland in December of 1973. And that's autographed by Ryan T. Mack. Next page. Oh, it's a copy of the same. And here, certificate of authenticity regarding the towel sample that we have from Elvis's haircutting towel from Rockin' Robin Roseanne for All the King's Things. She wrote All the King's Things. And what we have here is a picture of Elvis Presley shown wearing his personal haircut towel. This is all from Griffin Memorabilia. And here we have a statement of authenticity dated 8/26 of 99 from Noreen Clark regarding the Elvis hair, and they have photocopies here of 50 strands of hair here and 50 strands of hair here. I believe this is the first time I've ever seen a photocopy of someone's haircut. And here, ownership history of Elvis Presley hair, obtained from Graceland by Noreen Clark in December 2003. And then it's autographed at the bottom here. I, John Howland, transferred 2 locks to Wally Wildenrant on 8/11/03, 100 strands, J.H. John Howland. Continuing right along, we have pictures here of Elvis at the Graceland gate in the top one, and Elvis getting a haircut here on the bottom left, and bottom right here. It's just a picture of Elvis at the couch. And here's a picture of Elvis's barber chair in Graceland. And this here is a photo copy of Harold Lloyd at the gates of Graceland. Now the next page tells us who Harold Lloyd is. Elvis, his life from A to Z. And here we can see who Harold Lloyd was, or is. Son of, well, just it's his cousin, I guess. First cousin Elvis. He was employed as a guard at the gate at Graceland. And here is another document that in 1973, Harold Lloyd, Elvis's first cousin, who was employed as a security gate guard at Graceland, was married, but not to his girlfriend. This tells all about his entertaining life there. He had a wife and a girlfriend. Must be nice. P.S. I suspect that the girls placed strands of Elvis's hair in the wax paper packets with the intention of selling it to their friends. This never happened, of course. Why? I don't know. The treasured shoebox containing Noreen's share of Elvis's hair was just put in her attic and forgotten. When she showed it to me in 1988, it looked virtually untouched since 1973. And here is this is Meet Robin, Rockin' Roseanne by Arlene Brenner. And this is a narrative by Arlene Brenner about how Rockin' Robin operates. She wrote this All the King's Things book, and tells a lot about how Robin got some of this stuff, and she was on Oprah Winfrey, etc., etc. And on page 2 here, it just kind of gives you a very extensive background on how Rockin' Robin got some of her stuff. Like over the years, Robin smuggled her tape recorder into shows. Her collection includes 30 autographed shows, including a few where Elvis acknowledged her in the audience. His nickname for me was Rockin' Robin. And it's a nice little story, but I'm not going to get into reading it right this second, though. And now we're going to continue on to the rest of the stuff in the Elvis case. That's some pretty extensive documentation on that hair. But here's our Elvis case, and if you look at it the way it looks all together, and we'll go over some of the individual pieces. Starting at the top here. Elvis really wasn't a gearhead. His tastes were more into Cadillacs and Lincoln Continentals. Here are some photos from his early movie days with some race cars, hot rods, and motorcycles. We definitely know he would have loved visiting NICAB. Anyway, this is a fan magazine dated 1976, September, I believe, and it shows some photos from some of his movies. What he did in films no one else dared. And let's give a quick shot of these here. There he is looking very James Deanish. Cool. And here we have an Elvis 45 of Christmas songs. And that is sitting on top of Elvis's recording career 50th anniversary, Forever in the Groove. That's a book of all sorts of mementos to his various albums and records, which we're going to look at down over here. And this first one we have here is the great performances of Elvis. And includes, now it's hard to see, contains Elvis's first recording, the legendary 7/18/1953 acetate of My Happiness. And while we're at here, let's see, look at the picture here. It's just a nice picture of Elvis playing his guitar. Behind us here we have, let's see, soundtrack, Essential Elvis, the first movie's original soundtrack, Love Me Tender, Loving You, Jailhouse Rock, etc. Next one here is I think it's the Memphis Years in '69. That's a 2-record set. Complete Elvis. There's another soundtrack album, Girl Happy. Elvis Aloha via satellite. There's Elvis as recorded at Madison Square Garden. In the corner there we have a nice picture of Elvis on stage. It's kind of like the one we have on the wall in the Elvis room, but you'll see later. Down over here, it's a t-shirt of Elvis's GI Blues, which is, it says here, the best-selling record of 1960. And here we have original Memphis newspapers from the day Elvis died, August 17th, 1977. Death captures crown of rock and roll. Elvis dies apparently after heart attack. And another one from the Memphis Press Scimitar. Lonely Life ends on Elvis Presley Boulevard. And finally, last, not at all least, is this nice picture of Elvis here. And the picture is sitting nicely in the collar of Elvis's leather trench coat. And down over here, let me zoom in a bit on that. There, that's better. Okay. Affidavit of identity, letter of authenticity, leather trench coat owned by Elvis Presley. The Saxony black leather trench coat was personally owned and worn by Elvis Presley. The following is a testament to the provenance and identity of the coat. One, I, Letitia, okay, Henley was Elvis's private nurse from 1968 until his untimely death in 1977. My husband, Tommy Henley, worked security during Elvis's tours and was part of the Graceland maintenance crew. We lived in Graceland from 1974 until 1983. Over the years, Elvis and my family became lifelong friends. Number two, I do attest that this black, full-size leather trench coat was personally owned by Elvis Presley. Elvis wore the trench coat casually around Graceland. And then she's autographed it. And then there's a picture of it. And here it is. The king of rock and roll lives in Northern Illinois, Classic Auto Brokers.
How he got into this, it was intriguing to me and very interesting. He said, when I was a younger man, I had the foresight to be able to write to the last remaining Civil War soldier and get his autograph. And I said, you talking about John Salings? And it was a dead silence over the phone. He said, "How old are you?" I told him my age. He says, "You're too young to know what I'm talking about here." I said, "No." Then I explained to him that John Salings was from the area where I was at from in Virginia, and that my uncle had worked security for the funeral, and it was a big deal nationwide because he was the last surviving Civil War soldier. So anyway, we got that common bond together right there, and he felt comfortable in the fact that this ring was not something I wanted to just get and take and flip over and sell it like a car, and that's not what it was all about. It was something that I wanted to get, I wanted to keep it in our collection, and this is where it's at today. We bring it out on special occasions, and Jeremy can tell you that, because there's been several times that we've had some special promotions and things that we've done here, and some cruises for Feed the Children, for charity events, that we bring out this ring. But today, for the first time on video, it's the first time since I've had it that I'm going to let people actually see it on video. So anyway, some of the rest of the things that are in here, we actually have a tape. When we put this whole deal together, my attorney taped this over the phone, and it kind of documents and goes over the history and the story that I just told you of how this ring was, so, and all the documentation. All the rest of these photographs that are here that is included with this piece are actually the photographs that Elvis's girlfriend took of Elvis, and they are her personal photographs when he was entertaining in Johnson City, Tennessee. Now, we have a picture here next to this collage of Elvis with this ring on, and we have individual pictures of the ring. So that's another cool thing that we have. Now, Jeremy, if you can go over, you see the guitar that's there? This is another very cool piece that's in our Elvis collection. This guitar was a guitar that Elvis had given to John Wayne for a birthday present. The guitar went through the Wayne family, wound up in Tommy Morrison's hands, who was the grandnephew of John Wayne. He was also in the movie Rocky V. And we have a letter from Tommy Morrison going over the history of this guitar. And we also have what we call COA's Certificate of Authenticity for this also. So that's a very cool piece that we have here. We're very proud to have it here. Next to the guitar, we have in the frame one of Elvis's royalty checks. It wasn't very much, but it was kind of neat that we had it anyway. It was made to, I believe, Elvis Presley Enterprises. So that was something that was cool I wanted to get, because, you know, it's like, hey, got some of Elvis's money somehow, even though it's no good anymore. And then the photograph that's on top of the doll, the Elvis doll there, that's up on the wall, that is a piece worthy about talking about, because that particular piece was the last known photograph that was taken of Elvis a few hours before he died. He was entering the gates of Graceland, and to everyone's knowledge, that's the last known photograph of Elvis. Now, that's not the real one, that's just a copy of it, but nevertheless, I'm very fortunate to have it here, and it's something very special to us. Now, right below that, you'll notice that that is a Elvis doll. It was one of the earlier ones that they came out with that was for sale around the time after Elvis had passed away. That particular one we've got framed here has got, and Jeremy will be able to show you, is got a ring on it that looks pretty darn close to the one that we own in this collection. Now, to the right of that is a book that was written by Charlie Hodge, which was one of Elvis's people that actually was one of the group of his band, but he was with Elvis all the time, all the way from the service years through the time that Elvis performed in through the 60s and early 70s. He's also the comeback special. You'll be able to see Charlie Hodge, but when they would be in Vegas, he was the person that was always put the scarf over Elvis, and then Elvis would take it off and he would give it to the women and so forth. I met him, and that's a book that he wrote, and he signed that and dedicated it to Classic Auto Brokers. Now, the piece right next to that, that's framed, is two things. It's Elvis's will and it's Elvis's autopsy report. Now you guys probably going out there, what are you doing with that, Tony? Well, you know what? I've heard a lot of different things that people have said Elvis was still around with us, but you know, if you read a copy of his autopsy report, it seems to be Elvis is probably dead. So, a distinct possibility. Unfortunately, we'd like to have him around, but he's not with us anymore. But that is in fact a copy of his will, his last will and testament, and also a copy of his autopsy report. Now, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to hold it up here, and I'll let Jeremy get some close-ups of this ring before we put it away. And when we do put it away, it goes in our safety deposit box, and we don't bring it out unless it's for special occasions. So anyway, this is pretty unique. There's 36 diamonds on the top of this ring. We think that this ring was made for Elvis for his 36th birthday. We have an appraisal here when this ring was inspected, going over the diamonds and the fit and finish and what this ring is all about. I'm going to pull it out of the box that I keep it in here. And what's cool about it is on one side in raised letters it says EP for Elvis Presley.
Let's see, a little more, there you go, right there.
Okay, and I'm going to spin this around, and I'll let Jeremy really do a great job on showing this up close on one of our display cases up there. Here's the other side where it says TCB ring, TCB. So this was one of the early TCB rings. Elvis had a huge TCB ring later on that he had. This is all high quality, good gold. It's a beautiful piece. So, and it's a huge flat top. And as you can see, there's 36 diamonds in the top of this ring.
Most impressive.
So anyway, this piece is a photograph that Jeremy can show you also of this ring. So anyway, I'm going to let Jeremy go over some of these pieces a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to let him really get a close-up of this ring. I'm sure you'll really enjoy it.
Well, here's our collage of documentation for the Elvis Presley TCB ring here that we own. TCB on one side, EP on the other. First off, there's the cassette of the conversation, and here's a letter from a local law firm here basically stating that on February 4th at 1999 at 2:15 p.m. a conversation was recorded between John Bracken with his permission, verifying some of the facts surrounding the history of the Elvis Presley ring, which you purchased from him. Up over here, we have a brochure from John Bracken's museum, the Newmarket Battlefield Military Museum. And right over here we have, I don't know if we can see this, these are tickets to the Elvis Freedom Hall concert, 3/19 of 1976. Up above here, which unfortunately was printed on thermal paper, it's a fax verifying the wire transfer for the purchase of the ring. And there's the bag that the woman kept they kept the ring in, the Crown Royal bag. And this here is the appraisal to Tony from Timothy Grant, describing the ring. And here in this line, the price is undetermined due to the originality and authenticity of the piece. This is signed by Tracy Jacobson, maybe? I can't quite make that out. Anyway, let's go through some of the pictures that are here. These are just pictures that were taken by Elvis's girlfriend from the area at concerts. Lots of good stuff. And this is number 2 in our collection here. As number 2 is shown in our collector's guide here, or the memorabilia guide that we have. And here's another picture of Elvis with the TCB ring. And then tickets from this concert. Continuing along, the guitar that Elvis signed for John Wayne. Getting a close-up of that signature. And the certificate of authenticity. And there's another cert up there. And over here is the history of the guitar. History of this guitar is told to me, Tommy Morrison, and shows that Elvis signed the guitar that was personally owned by him. It's an Epiphone Gibson with a hard black case, and it's got 2 certificates of authenticity. He signed it personally for my great uncle, John Wayne, real name Marion Morrison. We knew that though. The guitar was given to me this day, January 2nd of 1989, my 20th birthday. I am Tommy the Duke Morrison, former WBG heavyweight champion. Whoever may receive this guitar, please carry on the history. Thank you, Tommy Morrison. Very nice. Continuing along here, and rather than having me tell you what it's all about, here it is. It says it right there. Hollywood Rockin' Country Certificate of Authenticity. This is the royalty statement sent to Venice Music Incorporated from Elvis Presley Music Incorporated for the song Ready Teddy, and the corresponding check stub for check number 3632 dated 12/31/70. And as you can see, $276.24. Not terribly hefty by today's standards. And here's that last picture of Elvis. And once again, here's this doll. And there it is. He's wearing that TCB ring. And here's the front cover of the book, Me and Elvis, by Charlie Hodge. And here it is, autographed by Charlie Hodge on the cover, on the dedication page. The last will and testament of Elvis A. Presley. We're not going to go through reading this, but there it is. Shelby County, Tennessee. And this one here is from Probate Court of Shelby County. Case number A655. And we get down to the bottom here. Report of investigation by County Medical Examiner. Elvis Aaron Presley, age 42, 3764 Elvis Presley Boulevard. Occupation, entertainer. Found dead. (10/20/1977). Let's go to the other side of the room. And on this side of the room is, of course, the reproductions of his gold albums. I guess that was a double gold one. And here's the, let's go take a look at the Cadillac picture, number 3. Elvis Presley's first Cadillac, 56 Eldorado with Continental kit. And this describes it. And this is the bill of sale from Southern Motors. And here it was sold to this woman, Lana Mocavita, Union Avenue in Memphis. 12/23/1957. This car, formerly owned by Elvis Presley. Anyhow, 12/27/57, Elvis Presley. Cool. Let's take a few moments here and take a look at this TCB ring. It's pretty heavy. I have no clue what the weight is, but it's a heavy ring, also quite large. Get some sparklies off the diamonds there. And right there are his initials, EP. I don't know if I'd be wearing this out in public, but then again, he wasn't your average guy. Let's see here. Hey, it fits pretty well. Uh-oh. What are we going to do here? It's stuck. There we go. TCB.
During the years that I've collected memorabilia and collected cars, I've come across and met a lot of different people, and for a lot of different reasons they collect things. I've always been a collector. My father was a collector. My father taught me about collecting things since I was a little boy. I used to go out to a lot of antique auctions and farm auctions and estate sales with my dad. So I got the bug early on when I was just a little kid. So when you come here to view our collection, you're going to see some just fantastic pieces that you won't believe that we have here. Later on in some more of these video series that we're going to do, we've decided that we're going to do the whole collection on video. So for those of you who are in different parts of the world, you'll be able to view some of this collection here. So if you do get an opportunity to come here, we'd love to have you. Come on in. You can pick up one of our walking tours. You can actually pick the tour up, put it in your hand, and go through and look at all the numbers on each one of the individual rooms and the individual pieces, and we tell you about that piece. And if I have time and you want me to, just come and get me, and who knows, I might come over and tell you about it. It was kind of cool because I think it was last summer or the summer before, we were visited by a couple who came here from somewhere out west, but anyway, the gentleman was looking for a particular car that we didn't have, and he was going out just on a tour with his RV to all the classic car dealers all over the United States looking for a particular car. And when he got here, he had come through looking at the cars, obviously, and then his wife came through looking at the rock and roll memorabilia. When she got to this room and she saw some of the Elvis memorabilia, what we have here, she actually broke down and started crying. True story. It was really moving for her to see some of the things that we have here, because These are some pieces that you don't see everywhere. I'm sure if you go to Graceland, you're going to see some great stuff, and I've been there, and it's just awesome. But this is things that I've collected over the years, and it's very special to me. And again, we have around 300 pieces that are here that are very special pieces. So as we go along with this video series that we're adding to our website, we're going to be going and telling you about all of these other great pieces that I've got here in the rock and roll collection. I think Jeremy and I talked too. We have some Buddy Holly, and we have a very rare piece here, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, right now, but we have something here that I guarantee you no one anywhere has ever seen, or no one even knows that we have it here unless you've been one of our customers or the people that's walked through here at Northern Illinois Classic Auto Brokers and ClassicMuscleCars.com. So until next time, you all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in to ClassicMuscleCars.com. And remember what we always say, Jeremy, is what? Keep cruising.